To me right now the biggest concern is just the uncertainty that's out there. We've got multiple lawsuits pending about players' likenesses and images and video games, and it's a huge, nobody knows how it's going to turn out, so nobody knows what the potential financial implications are going to be. One number they threw out was like $500, I think, a year, or maybe was it $5,000 a year. It was a big number. If you start multiplying that times all of your football players and all of your men's basketball players, that's a substantial impact that I don't think we're prepared for yet. So to me, the uncertainty is the biggest concern for me. We've already got the cost of attendance is out there, and we're doing that. That's going to be a little bit north of $300,000 hit to us, which is relatively small compared to some schools. Our cost of attendance gap is only about $1,200. There's some schools out there it's as high as $6,000 or $7,000. So there's some schools that their gap is north of $2 million to $3 million, and ours was relatively low at $300,000. But still, it's $300,000 that we didn't have to account for last year. The new meal legislation, we're anticipating that's going to cost us about $300,000 as well annually. So those two numbers together, you're north of $600,000. And then if you bring in the player lawsuits and start, that could add another $1 million or $2 million a year to our current budget. Well, I think the pay for play thing, if they win the lawsuit and they determine that yes, players should be paid for their likenesses, it's my understanding that that's going to be a set amount that's going to be standard across the board, so that UCLA won't be able to offer their players more than we would offer our players. That's the way I understand it now. Now, with the cost of attendance, that is an issue right now, because there are schools out there that they can tell their recruits coming in, hey, I'm going to be able to give you a check for $3,000. Arizona's only going to be able to give you a check for $1,200. And we just have to counteract that with, okay, whoever on the West Coast might be able to give you $3,000, but it's also going to cost you a heck of a lot more to live and eat on the West Coast than it is here in Tucson. So if you're really trying to compare apples to apples, the cost of attendance thing is supposed to be based on your geographic location, the cost of living in that area. So it should be a level playing field when you look at all the pertinent and key factors. But to some kid, some high school senior, he's going to see $4,000 or he's going to see $1,200, and he might just make a decision based on extra money, not really thinking that, hey, it's going to cost me that extra money just to live there. Well, that's who the Pac-12 has deals with. They have a deal with ESPN, they have another deal with Fox, and then they have their Pac-12 networks. And so ESPN and Fox pay the Pac-12 X number of dollars per year. I'm not sure what the figure is. I'd have to go look it up. And then they combine that with the Pac-12 revenue, and they distribute that equally to all 12 members. It goes to the athletics departments. Well, it just goes to offset our operating expenses. We've got about a $70 million budget here, and we expect to get total distribution from the Pac-12, from all the TV money, the TV contracts, the Pac-12 network, the NCAA basketball money that flows through the Pac-12. It's in the neighborhood of $22 million or so we're hoping to get this year. So that's 22 out of 70. So that's that's a third, a little bit, not quite a third of our budget. But that just goes to offset, salaries, benefits, what they call ERE here, team travel, scholarships, equipment, uniform, and supplies, all the expenses it takes to put on a home event. We've got fairly thin margins, and that our expenses are pretty close to our revenues every year.